everybody, I'm Amy Sullins.
And I'm Josh.
We own Amy Cole Photography, and we are doing a video today for you guys called Social Media Marketing During Crisis. We're doing this video because this has been a really strange and interesting time for small businesses, for social media marketing, the ins and outs of how you do things, why you're doing them. Are we allowed to do certain things since that we're in the middle of crisis? And so today, Josh and I are going to talk you through some of the things that we've been doing for our own business, and even some of the things that we've been advising other clients that we have, even churches, to do in the middle of this marketing crisis. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is being sensitive to your market. This is a big deal right now because you don't want to overstep certain boundaries that are being set for us, the sickness, all the things that are going on in the world. But at the same time, we still have a responsibility to ourselves, to our families, to our businesses to continue marketing. You want to say anything to that?
Yeah, I just think that's a super important point. I think probably one of the most important things is nobody wants to look at another person's business or another individual and seeing them try to exploit something that is so bad and trying to make a profit off of it. The same principles that your business operates under on a daily basis, focusing on the client, focusing on the ways that your business is going to help people, is going to be the same things that you're going to want to promote during this kind of time.
Right. So one of the things that I would recommend during this time of being sensitive, you obviously have to continue marketing yourself. There are people, we'll talk about this later in the other points, but there are people out there that are still actively pursuing your work, your vendorship with their wedding or with their business. So you do have to continue marketing in some element, but being sensitive to that market would mean not over exploiting that. Don't talk about the financial side of your business as much as you typically would talk about it. I would be very kind and generous to couples, especially that are having to change those dates. Be very sensitive on how you're doing that and how you're marketing to others while you're also dealing with other clients having to reschedule their sessions, their weddings especially. But even for churches, church services, be very gentle in how you're approaching that with your congregation. Is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I think the same thing that Amy's saying. You know, the only thing that I would add is just to keep in mind, people are going to have to spend money on needs.
Right.
I mean, the needs are not going to change as far as needing to have vendors there to help support them and walk with them through these incredibly important life events that they have. I just think that the message definitely needs to be, we're here to support you. We're here to help you. And if you're looking for one of the things that Amy Cole promotes, you know, relationships is important. It's key. And I think that it also takes you outside of the realm of just thinking about your business and what your business can do. But this is also a great time for you to take all of the networks that you have built around you with relationships and communication with other vendors that you have, and utilize those relationships and resources as a way to continue to just benefit, to show that you're working extra hard, above and beyond, under promise, over deliver.
Right. That's a great point. And then number two, that actually brings us to number two. It's offer grace to clients. Others will see that act of kindness, and that'll convert into business. Now, I'm not meaning manipulate that.
No.
I don't want you to offer grace just to get clients. I am asking you from your heart to offer grace. And in return, what is likely to happen is that others that are watching your business around you are going to view that as kindness and grace. And they're going to say of you, you know what, that's somebody I want to do business with. I would much prefer to give my money to this client, to this vendor versus this vendor because they offered grace to my friend during the coronavirus outbreak or whatever is going on. So be very aware of how you're offering grace to your clients. That is going to be viewed as a whole. And that is something I think we'll be seeing just fruitfulness come from in many years to come because of that.
Well, I think that that's one of the things more than anything. If it's going to be weird if you all of a sudden start picking up the phone and calling your clients or communicating with your clients, and that's not necessarily been a practice. And even if it's something that you're not strong in, I would urge you to consider ways to learn from those things and to grow in those areas that might not be seen as a strength, but certainly don't try to be something that you aren't.
Right.
And try to do something that would be perceived as out of the normal.
Yeah.
Because, people will see
it
right
will be
through
viewed,
that.
Yeah, it will be viewed as that. So let's just give an example. If you haven't been keeping in constant contact with, for me, I'm a wedding photographer. If I haven't been keeping in contact with those clients up until this point, and now I'm trying to overwhelm them with kindness and grace, they're going to view that as an off moment. They're going to view that in an odd way. So make sure you're doing that now for your fall brides. Go ahead and start connecting with them on a more personal level and letting them know you're there. Yesterday, I had several of my fall clients and fall brides actually reach out to me and say to me, how can we encourage and pray for the clients in the spring?
Yeah.
And I think that is a testament of how Josh and I view relationships with our clientele. They're not just clients to us, they're friends. And we really, truly bring them into our home. I know that they may not walk into the doors of our home always, but they definitely are a part of our home. Our kids typically figure out who they are very quickly. And so be aware of that. Be aware of how you're talking to those clients, the kindness that you're bestowing upon them, and go ahead and start building those relationships now, because you never know what's coming up in the future.
And then just another part of that, because of your need to lean on other people in your network, it's okay to not have the answers to every single question and every single scenario. But this is really where you use that wealth of expertise and those times that you've built those people around you to help point people in the directions to where they can find the answers that they're looking for. It doesn't matter whether you have the answer or whether you don't have the answer. The people will remember that you were an important part of their process in helping them get to where they need to get to.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So the next one that we'll talk about, number 3, is be authentic and raw, and even maybe vulnerable, but not hopeless. The biggest thing that I have been watching on social media is that people are trying to be authentic with how they feel. I'm trying to do that too. I don't want my clients to look at my grid and my feed right now and see things like, we're doing great, lock up number, lock up 2020. We're not. In our home, we're struggling too. Josh is struggling to make sure that he's still doing his job and doing it well. I'm struggling to take care of a lot of clients all at one time. I'm trying to make sure that you have what you need as also social media clients of ours. We're also in the middle of trying to take care of a senior in high school who things are up in air over if she'll graduate. There's a lot of things going on in our home that a lot of people are not seeing. And so I'm trying to be very vulnerable when I post out to social media, but at the same time telling them, hope is not lost. Like, we're going to survive this. We're going to get through this. And here are some tangible ways we can help each other. For instance, today I posted about Rebecca. I told a little bit about the story that, she is struggling with the fact that she may not walk across the stage to graduate. So I talked with another friend of mine just here in the area, and we started coming up with ideas of how we can help the community around us, the friendships around us. What can we do to help them if they were not able to walk across that stage? And you saw that in my post today. I tried to be very vulnerable and real with you, but also gave an example of how we're going to try to help these kids come out of this. So you can be vulnerable and authentic. Please be that. That's what people are looking for right now. But you cannot be hopeless in your marketing.
Well, and that's one of the things that I would say, even in the workshops, in the in-home workshops that Amy does really well in our home. I think one of the greatest ways to evaluate your brand is if you were to sit back and look over your previous post. Do you have a recommendation of like how far to go back or like?
Oh goodness, October was the last workshop.
So I would just say look back over your past, let's just say 3 months of stories or posts, and ask someone who's unbiased, somebody with no bias toward your material, to read your content and just ask them, say, hey, do me a quick favor. Give me 5 quick words of things that would describe what the messages that I'm sending out to my people.
That's great.
Because if you come back with words that are not on point with the brand that you're trying to communicate, then I think that it would be important for us to make sure that we are keeping things in line with what in the business world we would call core values. You're wanting to make sure that everything that you're communicating is something that is tied to something that is super important for you, your brand, and your business, and making sure that you're communicating exactly what it is that you want people to perceive and people to understand that is true and that is authentic about who you are building in your brand.
And even at the workshop, we talk through things like brand colors and all of those things. But this is a very vital part of your business and your brand. It's not just about how pretty and aesthetic your grid is. Are your words connecting with your brand? Are your words connecting with the heart of your brand? Right. For us, relationships is all over our brand. Right. It's all about our business. That's what we pride ourselves on. And if you talk to our couples, they'll tell you that's what they feel. A majority of them have said that, and many times in reviews, they feel like they have formed a friendship with us, and that is authentically what we want. So if you're not conveying those things to your brand, then it is time for a self-evaluation. And I highly recommend, if you need a minute to step back, there are plenty of people in the world and in our networking systems that are called ghostwriters. And if you need someone to maybe step in for just a second and let you breathe and maybe take a second to say, hey, is my heart in the right place? Am I portraying my brand in the correct way? There have been moments in our business that we've done that. We have a wonderful college student that we trust immensely who will ghostwrite for us on occasion for our social media post. And it's in those moments where I say, you know what? I'm not in a great place right now. And I feel like maybe I'm spilling a little bit more negativity on my posts than I would want to share. And it's in those moments that I reach out to our ghostwriter and I say to her, hey, I'm going to send you over 10 pictures. Will you evaluate these and write something? And then when she sends those back, I tweak them just a tad to make sure that they're in line with our business and the standpoint that we want to be taking. And then from there, I do have social media content prepared and posted. And then it's taking that responsibility and even sometimes that negativity and anxiety off of me in order to be able to share.
Yeah, and just another practical tool, another help for you as you're walking through this and trying to figure out exactly what you need to do to help promote your business during this time of crisis. The best thing you can do is separate yourself.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in the middle of that crisis or in the middle of that situation, it's very hard to make those choices because you're so invested in it and it's so personal to you. Mm-hmm. So it's going to sound weird, but this is so very practical. Mm-hmm. Pretend as if you're sitting in your business, you're sitting in your office, and this brand new photographer or this person that's seasoned in the business walks in and they share with you exactly what it is that your mind is going through.
Right.
Give advice to that individual from your standpoint, and you're trying to help another person.
Right.
And as you start helping that other person and giving that advice, just begin to jot down those things. Right. Because that is really the greatest opportunities that you can have, because that's coming from your heart.
Right.
That's truly who you are, and you've separated yourself enough from the situation to give you a good action plan to be able to move forward in what it is you need to do.
Yeah. And that really brings us to the fourth step. People have to trust you as a person before they're ever going to trust your brand. And this is pivotal in a crisis. If they don't trust you as a person, if they don't there are so many people that are clients of ours that haven't even met us face to face yet. But we get DM after DM after DM about how they trust us as a brand because they trust us as people. We have portrayed that. That's why storying is important for your business. Even in the middle of crisis, show things behind your scenes. Show things. It doesn't have to be things that you're doing inside of your business. It can be your kids playing, you feeding your dog, going out for a walk. Show them your real life, because people are never going to trust your brand until they trust you as a person. And this goes especially for small business owners like us, where we are really the only two people tied to our brand other than our children. And so because of that, we have to be very intentional about showing people who we are outside of this world of photography and outside of this world of church ministry, and also outside of the world of social media strategy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think all of those things are great. Mm-hmm. I think you've got to be real. You've got to be authentic.
You do.
You've got to let people see, you know what? It's okay to struggle, but it's okay too. You're supposed to have hope in the struggle.
Right.
You know? And just continuing to think about those ways that are going to continue to push forward and help others along. And I would say the other thing that as a part of that is with regards to networking, is this may even push you outside of something that's just branding for your business. There may be a nonprofit. There may be someone that's in your community that's doing something to try to help these people that are in crisis.
Right.
Give them a call.
Right.
Say, hey, is there some way that I can come out and that I can help? Can I photograph some things? Can
Right.
I document some things for you? Can I do something pro bono?
Yeah.
Can I just do something just to help?
Just to be kind. Yeah.
Because there's so many people that don't have access to people that do what we do.
Right.
And this is our way to be able to give back.
Right.
And it takes no time at all.
No.
I mean, you just do it, right?
And it's a way, and it truly is a way to build authenticity within inside of your brand. So I think it's really important. It's very vital that you make sure that people trust you as a whole, because that's how they'll become. That's how they'll come to love your business.
Right.
And then the last thing we can talk about is continue your marketing. There are clients out there that are still looking for people. In fact, we've had 3 wedding inquiries this week. That's crazy to me. I'm grateful and so excited for that. They have been extremely patient with us because we have been rescheduling several weddings at the exact same time. And I've let them know very much up front, hey, we definitely want to talk with you about your wedding. Let me explain to you a little bit about what's going on in our world. And I just lay it out for them and I say, we're dealing with several spring brides, broken-hearted brides that are having to reschedule their whole days. So if you will just give us a couple of extra days to get everything over to you and to have a conversation with you, we'd be really grateful for that extended time and your patience in that. And you know what has happened every single time I've done that? They've all reached back and said, oh my gosh, they are a priority. Absolutely, we
Right.
will be patient with
Yeah.
you. And so I think it's really important that you continue saying things like, hey, I'm a wedding photographer. Hey, I'm a social media strategist. For me, I'm getting ready to open up some one-on-ones just for the month of April to help some people in the industry that just don't understand this kind of marketing plan. And so for me, it's important to continue putting that out there because there are people that need that type of help from me right now. So just keep putting yourself out there. Do not stop putting yourself out there just because we're in crisis.
Right.
You need to continue in somehow marketing yourself.
Yeah, and I would just say that probably my final thing to contribute as a part of this, especially being in business ownership or in relationships in general, in order to receive grace, you have to give grace.
Oh, yeah, that's a good word.
And I think that this is not the time to be partisan. No room for politics here.
Right.
No room for blame. No room for criticism.
Right.
This is a time more than any other that we need support.
Right.
We need creativity, which is what we're good at.
Yeah.
Is how we can contribute. And this is our way to rally around and just continue to help one another succeed.
Right.
This is not the time to do anything that's going to tear one another down.
Yeah.
This is our time to build one another up.
I agree. If you have any questions over any of these points that we've made, I can put them in the comment section below. But we definitely just have a heart to help you guys right now. And we want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success because this will end. This is going to end. And when it does, you have to be ready and willing to step fully into that marketing side of your business again. And so if you're doing these things well right now, this is going to set you up when that is over to be good, to be, doing your job really, really well.
Yeah. It's okay, as Amy said, in your marketing, it's okay for it not to look perfect.
Right.
In fact, this is the time I would say,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to look
Yeah.
perfect because there is nothing out there right now that is pretty.
Right.
There is nothing out there that is perfect.
Right.
People want to know they're not the only person that's going through a difficult time and situation and circumstance. So it might be a time to where you sit back with your family and you do some crazy, stupid stuff.
Right.
Like
put makeup on
well,
each
I put
other.
makeup
Yeah.
on. Who knows? I'm not putting the makeup on, but whatever. It's just one of those times to where people want to see, hey, this is not perfect. And they're not projecting themselves to be perfect.
Right.
They're projecting themselves to be real.
Yeah, and anything you can do to create some laughter and excitement and
that's a
some
big deal.
fun.
Yeah.
Stories are perfect for that. So I would highly suggest that if you're not using stories for your business, this is the moment to jump all in. People are waiting and watching for something. There's nothing on TV. There's no sports on TV. There's nothing going on.
Right.
So this is the moment to market yourself.
Well, think
through
about
stories.
lifestyle photographers that are sitting there and they're needed to photograph families in the home.
Right.
You've got kids all over the place that are doing digital learning right now. Take those moments, photograph these things,
Right.
capture these memories, and show people life goes on.
Yeah.
But you're creating some great memories. Even though it may not be about a great circumstance, there's some great things that are taking place
Absolutely.
during this time. And there's so many things that you can do to continue to market your business without being insensitive to the situation.
That's all right. All right, guys. Well, that's it.
That's it.
Josh and Amy's first
Peace out.
YouTube video. Check it out. If you have any questions, please let us know. We hope that this information will help you through this season, and we're grateful you're here. Bye.
Have a great day.